And indeed, places are opening up, the state is opening up, the country is opening up in a way. Sports are still not there as of yet, but we're about to get there. And as Lauren said, she'll talk about the Dynamo and what they have coming up here in the next few weeks as they get going. But, you wonder, even when sports do come back, Lauren, how anxious are people going to be to go to the stadiums, to be part of a huge crowd before we know how all of this coronavirus and this COVID-19 situation is going to play out?
Jerome, this has been the most anticipated season in our lifetime for sports to come back. This last week, we hit the 50th day mark without sports, and people are itching for it back. Like you said, itching. I think people are going to be filling the stadiums whenever things do lift up, and if they aren't able to go to the stadiums, they are going to watch it on TV if it's fanless in each of the arena stadiums, as I just quoted, because people like competition. It's humanity. People want their sports back. So I think it'll definitely be highly viewed, regardless if it's in person or just on your tube.
See, I'm not so sure about that, Lauren, because I wonder about those games without people in the stands. And, we like to think that we're into the sport and just the competition, but we're into the pomp and circumstance. We're into what the crowd is doing. And that's why the TV plays of the game, the broadcast, that they pan the crowd, and after a big play, they'll show you someone in the stands doing something because they want to make you feel like you're there. Well, if the stands are empty, you're not going to feel like you're there because there's no one like you in the building. I think it's going to be a little strange. Hey, we all love movies, right? But we don't like going to boring movies or movies that don't excite us. So I'm real curious if how this is going to play out when it actually comes. If we really we'll watch early on, I'm certain of that. But I wonder long term, how long will we want to watch games with nobody in the stands and no cheering and no crowd noise, et cetera, et cetera?
Something else I wanted to allude to that you said is as far as how long it will continue. So that's going to be something interesting to see. I think there will be a lot of viewership at the beginning, even if it is fanless, but we'll see how long that lasts too. People are ready.
The Big 12 commissioner said something this week that really stood out to me. And he was talking about those groups of fans going to events, and the biggest event in the Big 12 every year, one of the biggest events in college sports, period, Texas OU game in Dallas at State Fair Park. And it's much more than a football game. And we're talking about a place where 500,000 people or whatever are there, and just 75,000 are there for the football game. And it's a huge crowd. It's elbow to elbow. It's fried everything. And you wonder, by October, will people be comfortable in going to those kind of crowds? You've been to Texas OU, right?
Right. Oh, that is such a fun rivalry game. It's the Red River Shootout or Showdown. I know that they changed the name recently, but as we know, half of my family's from Oklahoma, and then being raised in Texas, it's a fun tradition that my family's always watched. And then a couple seasons ago, we went to the game, and like you said, it's more than just a football game. It's an event, and I relate it to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, because you think, oh, it's just a rodeo if you're not from around this area or from the state, that you're just thinking of farm animals and roping and horse riding. But it's an entire festival with loads of artists and all of the fried food you can imagine. The Cotton Bowl is seriously a huge event. And you ask about the COVID and being comfortable going into that type of environment. I say that's something you take into your own hands, but we'll see what the regulations are set by, federal or state.
If they'll limit the number of people there, that will be interesting. You bring up farm animals. We got to get you riding a goat at some point on this show. That came up when we were talking about the rodeo, as you mentioned. And the rodeo used to be at the Astrodome all the time. We've got a great piece for you that you might be interested in that involves the Astrodome and history and all of those thoughts that you would have from back in the day. And Lauren, I'm talking to them because I know you and those thoughts. You're too young to have those Astrodome memories, right?
Hey, I can have them by watching clips on YouTube.
They're
Don't
video
hate
memories?
me, guys. I'm a Houstonian. I love the Astrodome, but no, I unfortunately I don't have those from from first person. Those memories.
I'm glad you didn't make a old black and white video joke. I'm tired of those.
You'll see a little bit of that later in the show whenever you do speak with our special guest.